tell me what do you see? A lunatic now get like me. It's a rap by the count of three, and it's all being filmed on Shock TV. Yeah, it's me, I'ma do my best to rip to your chest, mangle your flesh, dangle your neck, back my check. I don't really care if I got your respect. I just slaughter, don't be bothered. Watch where you step, it might be hot water. You order, pay me now, cause right now it's about to go down. You gotta get paid, more cash, I'm out of this game. It's crazy, I get more money by killing these fools now, ain't that funny? You gotta get paid, more cash, I'm out of this game. It's crazy, I get more money by killing these fools now, ain't that funny? Jack, he's a psychomaniac, that's right. It's devil sight, it don't matter who's wrong or right. I just might catch you slipping. Getting paid is my intuition and my ambition. It's to put the city in the siege. More death, more cheese. Gotta get the paper, reach your maker. And these parts from the Undertaker. And ain't no shortage, you can't be laid off. In fact, rest in chaos. You gotta get paid.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Motorman Dane, and today we're going to be talking about the heroes of Orcs Must Die 3. We got 6 heroes. We're going to go over all of them in one video. We got Cygnus, Egan, Gabriella, Kelsey, Max, and Warwick in that order. Cygnus has a special ability called Feign Death, where he drops all aggro, lays down on the ground, and he has health and mana regeneration. Egan, his specialty, which is their double jump, so you press whatever button for jump twice, and they activate their double jump. His is a ground slam, does damage, knockback, slightly airborne, depending on the angle, and stuns as well. It doesn't knock back any of the very heavy enemies, just the heavy and below. Then we have Gabriella. Hers is a slow fall. We have Kelsey. Hers is a levitate. We have Max. This is a double jump. And Warwick is a teleport. All right, let's quickly go through the skins. I'm not going to show them off in game. But you have Cygnus. You have Evil Cygnus. And you have Desert Nomad Cygnus. I think my favorite one's probably Desert Nomad Cygnus. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. You got Egan. He has Rift Blessed Egan. And he has Overlord Egan. Now, the special thing about the Overlord Egan, if you don't see it in your game, that is because the Overlord Egan is a pre-order specialty. And one of the things I really like about it is there's no voice lines. So if you don't turn the voice lines off, you'll actually he doesn't actually have any voice lines for Overlord Egan. And then we have Gabriella. Gabriella has Rift Infused Gabriella, and that's it. That's the only one that she has. We have Kelsey. She has Orc World Kelsey and Overlord Kelsey. I believe the same thing is true for her. The Overlord stuff was the pre-order bonus, and Kelsey's Overlord skin does not actually have voice acting, I believe. Then you have Prisoner Max, which is the default skin. You also have Retired Max. Not much of a difference, other than he just, I don't know, looks better. And then you have Orc World Max, which is easily the best one. Then you have Warwick, who has Good Warwick and Evil Warwick. And then Desert Nomad Warwick. So the Desert Nomad stuff came out with these Tipping the Scales DLC. So that's all you have as far as skins here. All right, let's jump into the character stats, and then we're going to go a little bit more over character abilities, and we're going to look at Egan's ability specifically because there are interesting ways to use it, and we'll talk about maybe a potential way to use Kelsey's ability, and maybe Max's as well. I've used it specifically in the past. I guess we can talk about Cygnus too. We'll skip over Gabriella and Warwick. They're not very good. Really, Egan and Cygnus are the best for a multitude of reasons. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. But let's go ahead and get into their stats here. So I want to start with Cygnus because he has the lowest base health, and so we're going to go from lowest to highest. So he has 125 base health and 175 base mana. All right. And there's nothing else to them here. Their defeat and dance stuff is here. I guess if you modded it, you can mod the dance out. That'd be kind of interesting to see what happens. Probably just stand there. All right, so Cygnus is 125, 175. Egan, he's at 135, 165. And then And then Gabriella's at 150, 150. Kelsey's 175, 125. I believe that's still better than Max as far as mana. Oh, Max is better. Max is 165, 135. So Max, it goes as far as lowest health, highest mana. To the opposite, it goes Cygnus, Egan, Gabriella, Max, Kelsey, Vorwick. Vorwick is highest health. Vorwick is 185, 115. So if you are using a lot of mana, you probably want to go for Cygnus. If you like melee builds, then Vorwick is a good choice. But Kelsey is not too far off. It's really kind of minuscule, the difference between these. But if you're playing, maybe if you're playing Scramble and you have like double base mana or something, then obviously Cygnus would give you the best bang for your buck. But if it's like double health, then Vorwick could give you the best bang for your buck. Either that or would just make like somebody squishy better, or somebody who's tanky, you know, if you get the extra double mana to make your tank just a better caster. Yeah, okay, so the next thing we need to talk about are the movability protos here. So here we have the Ground Slam. Mana cost is 32 mana. He's the only one that costs mana other than Kelsey. We have Levitate, which does cost 30 mana per second, but it's only if you're moving. If you're standing still, it doesn't cost any mana. And cooldown of 1 second. You can't recast it immediately while you're falling in the air. Then we have the Feign Death. It doesn't cost anything. There's no cooldown to it. We have the Teleport. It doesn't cost anything, but it is a 1.5 second cooldown. You have a Feather Fall that doesn't cost anything and no cooldown. And then Double Jump. The base is set here. All right, the status effects. Let's talk about the Feign Death. So this is Cygnus's ability, and it gives him 4 health per second and 2.5 mana per second. That is slower than the Rift, but we'll talk about that when we go into a game with him. And then Egan's ability does damage and stuff. So it does 20 to 35 damage. 35 damage is in the center. 20 damage is on the outsides. The minimum radius is 600 grid squares. The maximum radius is 1,200 grid squares. Really, actually, quite large there as well. Okay, let's jump into the game and take a look at maybe ways to use the 4 that I talked about: Cygnus, Egan, Kelsey, and Max. Abilities, like where I would use them. Gabriella and Vorwick, I wouldn't typically. Unless you're speed running, then you might use Vorwick just so you can quickly get place to place, because he is technically the fastest character there is. Alright, so first one's up, it's going to be Cygnus. It doesn't really matter which one we play on. Let's just jump into, like, I don't know, Colosseum. I think there's Knolls on Colosseum, right? Yeah, so let's do that. Wave 1 Knolls, I mean.
So, how do we find Borwick?
Keep killing his armies and he'll find us.
Alright, so the double jump looks like this.
Warwick's powers
Your
are
dude
limited
sleeps.
by the negative rifts, but it is not unlimited.
And here's what's good about that. See this guy? He's coming at me, right? Normally, you'd have to, like, fight him and stuff. But you can just sleep him. Now you come back up and he'll see you, but then you sleep again. And if we can get somebody with range... Okay, there's nobody with range. But anyways, if somebody with range starts attacking you, then you can just sleep and dodge the projectile. I thought it... Oh, it just Rift Lord. And then lastly, you know, one of the good reasons to use this is to, you know, put yourself in a position where the... where if you want to sit to, like, take care of sappers, let's say you have to count the waves. It's a difficult map, so you're counting the waves. You know, you know that wave 4 sappers come out of the right-hand gate. You go to the right-hand gate at the end of wave 3, you sleep until the sappers show up, and then you take care of them, and then you run back into your kill box, or to the other side of your kill box. And then if you're in your kill box and TNT archers are coming at you, you can double jump to avoid the attack, so it'll go over you, so it won't damage you, or you can just continuously double jump. So sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up. And then it'll cycle the aggro, and they won't actually ever fire, and they'll move forward. Then they'll stop and move forward, stop, move forward, but then they'll go into your kill box. And every time you come back up, you can use an ability of a weapon, like the Stone Staff, for example, and you can just constantly be cycling through that. And that doesn't really cost you anything. Plus, a little bit of extra mana regen can help you use the Stone Staff or the Ice Amulet or some kind of other crowd control, like, lightning staff, secondary, whatever it is. So those are ways that I use it. I really like using them against gnolls. If gnolls are coming up behind you and you just go to sleep real quick, then they'll just bypass it. If you want to kind of be in a better position for some of your weapons, or if you want to watch your kill box, if you're wondering what's getting through or how's it getting through, and then you set everything up the same, you play Signals, run over their sleep, and just watch it happen and see what's going on. Okay, the next hero we're going to talk about is going to be Kelsey. We're going to save the best for last with Egan. All right, now, this is a very, very, very niche way to use it. We're going to go to a desert wall here. And this is really theoretical. I mean, it does work, but I just don't know how well it works. I keep thinking control is my thing. Okay, notice how I'm levitating right here, okay? If I do this and use the hammer, what it'll do, if I stand here and do this, it will actually pull enemies in, and they'll fall down into the into this, whatever it is, crevice of the earth. That's the only thing I can think about to use it. Other than that, if you stand here, ogres that see you will target you to charge, and they'll knock other enemies off into the void as well. Those two reasons you could play Kelsey. Other than that, the levitate doesn't do anything other than use up all your mana, except for one other reason, which is to explore the map. If you want to go outside of the bounds of the map, Kelsey is your gal. You'll need to bring the Mana Rage trinket, and then it'll take a long time, but you can do it. You can actually explore a lot of the map. Okay, next one we're going to talk about is Max, and the only one place that I use him as well. It's going to be Drastic Steps here, and it's going to be in Slagfield. Alright, the reason I like Max, I guess you could do it with Warwick as well, but Max does have a little bit more mana, is because you can start here, and then if you do the Stone Staff, then all you have to do is Stone Staff the flyers. As soon as they come out, boom, Stone Staff. As soon as they come out, boom, done it again. I like to give him the Mana Rage Trinket and the Stone Staff for this. This map specifically is pretty good. It's pretty easy to get stuck on these sections here. So he's good at getting around. I mean, you could do Vork as well, but like I said, Max has more mana equals more abilities equals more things controlled or dead. So that's really the only reason I use Max. Now let's go to Egan. Egan is probably the best, and he's got the most intricate setup here. So let's go into... it doesn't matter. Let's go into North Wing. Yeah, North Wing Rift Lord should be fine. Alright, let's switch over to Egan here.
Good to go.
And we also need to switch over to Stone Staff Knockup. We'll do that, and we'll do the Gravity Pillar, and I'll show you guys really cool stuff to do with Egan here. Maybe the reason why he is literally the best.
Not an order rift.
Well, him and Cygnus, I would say you could probably just skip everybody else. Unless you really like to fight, hand on hand, hand to hand, then maybe you could do Warwick, but other than that, I would do, just do Egan or Cygnus. Okay, alrighty then. We'll do that, and we'll do a little bit of Tar here.
All right.
Yep. So it's got a secondary knockup after a brief delay. So we're going to take a look at a few things here.
Enemies are preparing to breach
As soon as they rake through, they're going to get zooped, and you know what we do? Boom, look at that. See that guy? He just got knocked out of there. And got knocked out of there. Alright, same thing with this. You knock him up and you punch him out. Beautiful stuff. It's really awesome. Really useful stuff. As you can see, we're getting ×4 or 5 combos. All we have is a lift. Doesn't do damage, I think. And then we have our Egan and Stone Staff stuff. So it's really... he's a combo generator. If you're running endless score, you want to run Egan. If you're running endless for longevity, you want to run Cygnus. That way you can sleep and then walk away from your computer and then come back to, later on or something. Without pulling aggro, if you die and you spawn by your barricades and then you get targeted by TNT archers or something and you're not there to fix it, it could be a problem. So Cygnus is a really good choice for that. Egan's a really good choice for combos. But yeah, so that's probably the best way to use Egan's ability as well. Cool. I think that's everything that we need to cover. We covered all the abilities, the stats. I guess Egan's weapon is the longbow. Kelsey's weapon is the blunderbuss. Gabriella's weapon is the scepter of domination. Max's weapon is the crossbow. Warwick's weapon is the elven short swords, and Cygnus's weapon is the chain lightning staff. Although that's a signature weapon, they're not stuck to it. You can play with whatever you want, as you can see. We did that. Yeah, okay. I think that's everything for the heroes. Guys, as always, let me know in the comments. Do you like any particular hero? Do you not like them? Have you found creative ways to use them? Who's your favorite hero, I guess? Who's your least favorite hero? If you can give me a ranking from 1 to 6, that'd be great. I'm interested to see if anybody really thinks Gabriella's worth it. I mean, she does have 150, 150, so stats are there. I just, if you want to go mana, Cygnus is definitely a really safe option with his Feigned Death. He's effectively immune to all damage if you time it correctly. And Egan's just very powerful with his ability and all that. I don't know. You tell me. Okay, but don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the flip side. Deuces.